Ayon pa sa nasabing report, Marcoleta, dapat sa Pilipinas dininig ang kaso ni Duterte. Iginiit ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta na dapat sa Pilipinas isinagawa ang anong paglilitis at parusa kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sakaling mapatunayang may sala at hindi sa daheg Netherlands kung saan siya ay kasalukuyang nakadetine sa kasong crimes against humanity. Giit ni Marcoleta, sa ad interim appointment hearing ng DFA, hindi sinunod ng ICC ang sarili nitong mga regulasyon sa pag-aresto. Aniya, may umiiral na batas sa bansa na nagsasabing saklaw pa rin ng lokal na jurisdiction ang mga kasong tinuturing na international crimes. Umaasa ang senador na matatanong ni dating DFA Secretary Enrique Manalo na ngayon ay permanent representative ng Pilipinas sa UN sa New York kung naging regular ang proseso o dapat ba itong masusing repasuhin, unquote. Komento pa ng taong bayan, tama lang naman talaga na dapat dito litisin sa Pilipinas. Kung meron man siyang nilabag na batas, dito niya harapin dapat. Yan, attorney, asikasuhin mo yan kasi labag talaga sa batas yan. At para kay PRRD at sa taong bayan, long live Attorney Sin. Salamat Senator Rodante Marcoleta, God bless always. Nakakami si FBRRD Tatay Digong, hindi siya kriminal, hindi masamang tao, naramdamang trusted at safety government during his term. Naiiyak ako sa iyo, Senator Marcoleta. Dami niyo pong nilalabanan: flood control, flood corruption, ayuda to Meralco, illegal detention ni PRRD. Alam ko, madami pa kayong gustong magawa. Lord, tulungan niyo po ang butihin naming Senador Marcoleta. Siya po ang number 1 namin at kailangan kasama ni BP Inday. Dapat managot ang nagpadala kay PRRD sa ICC itong administrasyon na ito at ang kanyang mga alipores.
Bago tayo mag-umpisa, baka pwede nyong i-like ang video na to. Malaking bagay ang like sa aming mga content creators. Maraming salamat po.
Yun guys, magandang araw sa inyo. It's me again, Boy Sar na sa Member ng Martanos Vloggers. Bang bang! Eto na mga babayan, ito na yung pinakahihintay natin, no? Pinag-uusapan na ang ICC. Yan, no? Senator Marcoleta bumanat na. Ano tawag dito? Pinag-usapan na yung pagdakip kay Tatay Digong. Eto na yung pinakamaganda. Ito na yung pinaka main event na pag-uusapan, no? Na pinag-uusapan na sa kamera. Itong pagdampot o pagkidnap kay Tatay Digong. Ang ganda nito mga kumare. So bago ang lahat, paki-like niyo muna yan mga kumare itong video natin. At kung hindi ka pa nakasubscribe, subscribe ka na dyan. Isang suporta, isang all goods na tayo dyan. Isang suporta, all goods na tayo dyan mga kumare. Eto na nga, no? DFA. DFA, si Manalo. Ayan na, umamin na. O so, syempre, para malaman mo yan kung talagang nagsalita na ang DFA na yan, ay panoorin nyo hanggang dulo kasi napakaganda ng video na to. Ayan na, yung mga ayaw magsalita dati mga babayan ay mga nagsasalita na. Syempre mga corner po sila syempre pag nagsinungaling ka dyan sa hearing na ganyan, maaari kang makontempt or mapapahiya ka kasi nanonood sa'yo ang milyon-milyong tao. So ngayon itong si DFA ay ito na, nako. Tamang-tama yan na Mr. DFA or sino pa man ang gustong magsalita dyan. Si Torre na lang din salita Mr. Torre, ano bang nangyayari sa'yo? Magsalita ka na, tinanggal ka na, magsalita ka na rin. Huwag nang pakimi-kimi dyan, huwag ka nang patago-tago kasi darating at darating ang panahon, no, na ikaw ay mako-corner din. So mas maganda magsalita ka na rin. So kung ayaw mo magsalita talaga, di hintayin mo talaga ang paghimas ng rehas mo dahil katakot-takot na kaso ang haharapin mo soon. O, di ba? Tingnan nyo si Saldico. O, di ba, pinapatawag, wala may inatake sa puso, nasa Amerika. So susunod na vlog natin, hintayin nyo yung si Saldico, no, kung nasaan ba talaga. So dito sa video na to mga babayan, ay ito na nga yung napag-uusapan na itong pagdakip kay Tatay Digong. Siyempre si Senator Marcoleta, hindi yan makakalimutan na pag-usapan yan. Yan ang maganda. Main event, pinakahihintay naman talaga natin ay mapag-usapan si Tatay Digong, no? Mas maganda makauwi na siya soon as possible. no, hanggat ay malakas pa si Tatay Digong na makauwi siya ng Pilipinas, ma-interview pa, makausap natin at malaman natin na dito sa Pilipinas, nasa Davao na siya, ganon. Kasi dito nga naman sa Pilipinas, meron naman tayong due process, merong mga abogadong magliliti sa kanya, kaso inuna ka agad doon sa may sa may dahig, no. Kita nyo naman si Pangulong Marcos Jr. dati, siyempre sabi niya, hindi pa kapasok ang ICC, pero lahat ng mga sinasabi ni Bongbong Marcos ay kabaliktaran, no? Kaya wag na tayo maniniwala sa kanya, kay Bongbong Marcos. Nabudol na nga tayo Biruin mo, lahat ng sinasabi ni Bongbong Marcos, mga kumare, mga kumpare, ay kabaliktaran. Pag sinabing hindi makakapasok, makakapasok. Pag sinabing may mga flood control na pinagawa at maiiwasan na ang baha, nagbaha, di ba? Ang sabi nga dito, kung napapanood nyo yung mga trending ngayon, ang sabi nga ay ngayong 2025, no, na pinakamalaking korupsyon sa buong Pilipinas ngayon sa panahon ni Marcos. My God. Wala si Marcos po kasi, mga kababayan, ay puro kamot lang sa ulo. Baga hindi siya kinakatakutan ng mga congressman, ng mga tawag dito, mga kontratista. Syempre yung mga congressman, sila din naman nagkokontrata. Dawit talaga si Marcos dito, lalong-lalo si Tambaloslos, kasi Saldico. Itong si Diskaya, baga ito yung mapapanagot na naman to Baga sana maasikaso to ni Senator Marcoleta at ng buong team na hindi lang itong si Diskaya ang makulong. Mismo dapat yung utak nito kung bakit si Diskaya ay nakakulimbat ng bilyon-bilyon na project, at sa kanya namang bahay, nakita nyo, grabing mga luxury car. So ibig sabihin nito, mga babayan, hindi lang si Diskaya ang napakayaman. Kung mayaman si Diskaya, mas mayaman po yung mga nasa likod nito, di ba? Ito kasi mga nasa likod nito, hindi naman to tawag dito, isang firma pasok ng project, wala silang kahirap-hirap, hindi sila bibili ng bakal, hindi bibili ng mga bakho para maggawa ng flood control. Sila ay tiga-pirma lang, tiga-pasok ng pondo. Ibig sabihin to, walang kahirap-hirap, laway lang at pagpirma sa ballpen. My God. So dapat ito mapanagot talaga yung nasa likod ni Diskaya. Okay, yun po ang aabang natin sa mga susunod nating mga video. So ngayon, dito manood tayo sa hearing na naman na to, at ito ay napag-usapan na, ang ganda. Napag-uusapan na. So ibig sabihin nito, si Tatay Digong ay maaring possible na talagang mapauwi. Dahil ito na nga, sinisimulan na nga ni Senator Marcoleta itong usapan na to. So sana dire-diretso yung usapan dito sa pagkidnap at sa pagpapauwi kay Tatay Digong. Hindi ba? Ito yung pinakamaganda, pinaka main event. Kasi pagka si Tatay Digong ay napauwi na natin at ay dumating na ng Pilipinas, yari ka ngayon, Mr. Torre. Na? At syempre pag dumating na siya rito, kada hearing dun sa dahig, pupunta na lang siya, walang problema. At least alam natin, mga kababayan, na nagmamahal kay Tatay Digong, na nandito siya sa Pilipinas, at anytime pwede na mo siyang makita. Pwede natin makita sa mga Facebook ni ni Katie Duterte, ni BP, na nandito si Tatay Digong na nakikita natin sa bahay niya, di ba? Sobrang nakakamiss na po si Tatay Digong. So ganito, mga babayan, panoorin natin itong full video, no? At wag mong kakalimutan ng i-like. Tingnan natin kung gaano ba katotoo at kung gaano ba binakbakan ni Senator Marcoleta itong issue about kay Tatay Digong, at itong si DFA Manalo, kung talaga bang aamin na talaga siya sa pinakakabulustugan ng pinagagawa ng administrasyon ng Marcos. O tara, panoorin to, mga babayan, ha. Don't forget to like, ha. Okay, play mo na yan, boy. Let's go.
Mainit na usapin ang muling nabuhay sa pagdinig ng Commission on Appointments Committee on Foreign Affairs and National Defense ngayong Miyerkules. Isa sa mga natalakay ang kaso ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa International Criminal Court o ICC.
Sa pagdinig ng Commission on Appointments Committee on Foreign Affairs kaugnay sa pagkonsidera sa nominasyon at ad interim appointments ng 24 na foreign service officials ng Department of Foreign Affairs, huling napag-usapan ang kaso ng International Criminal Court o ICC laban kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Iginiit ni Senador Rodante Marcoleta na labag sa batas ang pag-aresto at posibleng paglilitis kay Duterte sa The Hague.
Ambassador, in my humble personal view, the arrest the detention and the potential prosecution of former President Duterte in The Hague is illegal.
You requested the question.
Well, I'm basing my opinion within
Heard it.
within the limits and context of the Rome Statute. I'd like to find out, given your next position as the permanent ambassador, Philippine ambassador to the United Nations, will you be in a position to navigate within the context of international law, whether or not we will find support in expressing my opinion that it is indeed illegal?
Kasunod nito, ipinaliwanag ni Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo na hinirang bilang permanent representative ng bansa sa United Nations ang posisyon ng Pilipinas kaugnay ng ICC.
The Philippines is not a member of the ICC, so we have actually no official contact with the ICC. But nevertheless, the Philippines will always remain committed to all the human rights conventions and agreements that we are parties to. We will also, of course, follow our own national domestic law. And it's in that context that we will work to see how we can promote the various commitments that all countries have to human rights convention.
Gate pa ni Marcoleta, ayon sa prinsipyo ng complementarity at nakasaad sa Republic Act 8591, anumang kasalanan ng isang Pilipino kahit maituring na international crime ay dapat titisin sa loob ng bansa.
So dapat sana ang naunang, kung mayroong pagkakasala, yung ating nakaraang Pangulo, dito siya dapat na-arestuhin, dito siya dapat litisin at hatulan mismo ng ating sariling mga batas. The ICC itself did not observe its own regulation, its own rules. At meron naman po tayong domestic law, hindi po ako nagkakamali. This is Republic Act 8591 na sinasabi po doon ang nagkasalang isang Pilipino, kahit na yung pagkakasalan niya ay tinataguri ang international crime at lahat ng kauri nito, ang jurisdiction dito pa rin sa ating bansa.
Binigyan din pa ng senador na tila hindi nabigyan ng due process ang dating Pangulo at hiniling kay Manalo na mailapit ito sa United Nations.
I will take to heart the points you have made. I will take them into account. And naturally, in the context of my overall work there, as I mentioned, in promoting human rights, etc., I will certainly take into account what you have mentioned.
Sa kabila ng mga tanong at isyong binuksan sa pagdinig, tiniyak ng Commission on Appointments na patuloy nitong susuriin ang mga nominasyon habang nakaabang ang publiko sa magiging hakbang ng Pilipinas sa harap ng usapin sa ICC.
Ambassador, in my humble personal view, the arrest, the detention, and the potential prosecution of former President Duterte in The Hague is illegal. Well, I'm basing my opinion within the limits and context of the Rome Statute. I'd like to find out, given your next position as the permanent ambassador, Philippine ambassador to the United Nations, will you be in a position to navigate within the context of international law, whether or not we will find support in expressing my opinion that it is indeed illegal?
Thank you very much, Mr. Senator. Well, first, of course, the Philippines is not a member of the ICC, so we have actually no official contact with the ICC. But nevertheless, the Philippines will always remain committed to all the human rights conventions and agreements that we are parties to. We will also, of course, follow our own national domestic law. And it's in that context that we will work to see how we can promote the various commitments that all countries have to human rights conventions. And it's in that context we will work. And therefore, at least as far as my position is concerned in New York, that would be the basic thrust that I would seek to undertake. Also bearing in mind that, as you know, the possibility that I think was mentioned earlier that the president would be open to considering at some stage in the future the possibility of rejoining the ICC. But at the moment, I think those are the areas that I would focus on.
Mr. Chair, I raise this because if we refer to the Rome Statute, the foundation of that statute is the principle of complementarity, meaning to say, before it can act in a particular member state, of course, we are no longer a state member of the ICC, the jurisdiction, the national law of that particular state will govern. There has not been any pronouncement that the Philippine government, judicial system, or the National Prosecution Service cannot function or remains to be inactive. There is no such allegation or admission on the part of the Philippine government. So dapat sana ang naunang, kung mayroong pagkakasala yung ating nakaraang Pangulo, dito siya dapat na-arestuhin, dito siya dapat litisin at hatulan mismo ng ating sariling mga batas. That was not done. So the ICC itself did not observe its own regulation, its own rules. At meron naman po tayong domestic law. Hindi po ako nagkakamali. This is Republic Act 8591 na sinasabi po doon ang nagkasalang isang Pilipino, kahit na yung pagkakasala niya ay tinataguriang international crime at lahat ng kauri nito, ang jurisdiction dito pa rin sa ating bansa. Bigla na lang inaresto na hindi naibigay ang kaukulang due process. So I'm expecting na dahil naman sa tungkulin mo sa United Nations, baka makapagtanong-tanong ka naman kung yung naganap na pangyayari ay talagang regular o dapat nating bigyan ng masusing pag-aaral, baka naman nagkamali ang nakagawa ng ganito. Yun lang naman ang punto, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Ambassador. Thank you, Mr. Chair. If you care to reply.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Senator, and definitely I will take to heart the points you have made. I will take them into account, and naturally, in the context of my overall work there, as I mentioned, in promoting human rights, etc., I will certainly take into account what you have mentioned.
Thank you, Secretary Manalo. The chair would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Amy Marcos before Congressman Lido Garbin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and morning to our esteemed colleagues. In pursuance to our mandate in confirming the appointments of our nominees and appointees of the President, we are guided by no consideration other than the fitness, integrity, and the qualification of this respective appointees of the President. And Mr. Chair, I can vouch that Mr. Enrique Manalo, which will be our permanent representative of the Republic of the Philippines to the United Nations, embodies all these said attributes and qualifications. Now, having said that, Ambassador, the overarching mandate of the United Nations itself is outlined in its charter, which includes maintaining international peace and security, developing friendly relations among nations, and solving global problems through international cooperation and the promotion of human rights. There is a long-standing war right now between Palestine and Israel. And the recognition of Palestinian state was upheld by 147 UN member states. May we know, Ambassador, whether our country, the Republic of the Philippines, is included in that 147 member state.
Thank you very much, Mr. Congressman. On the particular question, yes, we are included. The Philippines has long held the view of a two-state solution to the issue in Palestine. Of course, that being said, at the same time, we are very deeply concerned about the humanitarian situation in Gaza as it stands now, and the suffering of the civilian population. And I think recently the president spoke quite clearly on this, and the Philippines is certainly committed to helping in any way in alleviating the humanitarian situation in Gaza. And in fact, the Philippines has also contributed humanitarian assistance through the UN agency in Palestine. But going back to the point, we have always espoused the two-state solution. And in fact, we even participated in the ICJ advisory opinion on Palestine recently. We also made a submission. We were one of a number of states to do so. So our commitment to ensure that the situation in Gaza does not continue as long with respect to the humanitarian suffering and costs to the women, children, and people in Gaza.
But, Mr. Ambassador, would you agree with me that due to the long-running dispute between Palestine and the Israel, which has been, internationally agreed, it has no internationally agreed boundaries as of yet. And in fact, given its status, they are just a quasi-state. But as you have said, we continuously recognize the two-state solution, and we fully support the same. In according assistance to Palestinian citizen, could you enlighten us whether we accept refugees here in our country?
Well, at the moment, I'm not aware of any particular law. I think we would have to consult our Justice Department on these points, on the possibility of accepting. But I think the issue we should really focus at the moment is first how to alleviate the suffering of the people in Gaza, and how we can support efforts, hopefully at some point, not only to achieve a ceasefire, but eventually to see and really consider seriously on the possibility of the two-state solution. I think these are the immediate things. But in terms of the refugee issue, of course, I'm not aware. I could be wrong if we have any law, but I think if we do, it would also have to involve other agencies in the Philippine government to consider this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Now, your statement on the support of the two-state solution represents a strong and moral and political statement for the Republic of the Philippines, and we should continue to support the same. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Garbin. Senator Marcos?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I don't know if this has been taken up. I apologize. There are so many committees going on, committee hearings. To Secretary Manalo, I'm sorry, you're still Secretary by habit. Makikibalita lang po tungkol sa bid natin to be a member of the UN Security Council. What are our chances of occupying the Asia-Pacific chair? And what are you doing to campaign? Because I know it involves a lot of lobbying and coalition building among our group.
Could I say that I think our chances are good, and we have been campaigning really quite dexterously, especially in the past couple of years. Our campaign has been at various levels. When I was secretary, with my counterparts, the president, in fact, the president is scheduled to go to the UN this month, also to lobby. So at all various levels, our embassies abroad, our officials in the department, various levels, undersecretary, whenever we meet our counterparts, we've always campaigned hard and sought their support. We've also had official exchanges through notes verbal of support And so we have really worked very hard on that. We have also taken advantage of not only meetings in the UN to meet our counterparts, but we have also attended selected meetings where we feel we can make the most or take advantage of opportunities of meeting our counterparts. For example, in my case this year, I went to the meeting of the CARICOM, Caribbean Community Countries, at ministerial level, and I was able to meet most of the ministers of the Caribbean
Bumoboto
countries.
pala lahat. Akala ko yung Asia Pacific lamang pag yun lang ang pinaglalabanan. Pati Caribbean kasali sa botohan.
Oh, yung buong, the whole General Assembly.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but-
Even if it's only for a specific region.
just-
I see.
so
So,
you-
as I recall in the UN, it involved a lot of whining and dining. Eh, talong-talo tayo sa mga budget nila. Anong ginagawa ninyo?
Well,
At sino yung karibal natin? Sino pa sa Asia Pacific ang pumupustura?
Kyrgyzstan.
I see.
And yes, it involves whining and dining and gaining pounds and cholesterol, but we also try to, when we dine, reasonably priced dine. But that's not the only thing, dining and whining. We take advantage too of meetings. And,
Yes, of course,
And
of
even formal meetings. Yung mga, for example, we have regular joint consultation meetings with a number of countries. We always take advantage of that to raise our concerns. I mean, our campaign and our
Yes,
seeking their.
I think you're way ahead in that regard, having been in the UN for so many decades at this point. And I was just going to ask you something a little bit stickier. And as the former Secretary of Foreign Affairs, what can you say about the newly opened Mahatao base in Batanes, binuksan noong 28 August, to house Philippine Navy and military units? In your view, will this worsen the tension with China and escalate the already highly escalated Taiwan Straits atmosphere?
Well, I'll take a risk at answering that. Since
Yes, I'm not going to pin you to this. You're no longer the secretary. It's just your personal opinion
I think
as
that
an experienced and professional diplomat.
I
Please
think
go ahead.
that move, when looked at carefully, is part of the policy we had to try and at least strengthen the security capabilities of the Philippines. Really aimed not at any country, any particular issue, but just to place the Philippines in a position that, if necessary, at least we have the means to at least create some form of deterrence. And it also puts us in a spot to help, not only in terms of traditional security, but with our armed forces there, they will also be in a position to help in providing humanitarian assistance in case of any climatic catastrophes or disasters in that area. So I think it's really overall making the Philippines in a better position to fend for itself militarily, defensively, and also economically. I think ultimately it's up to the Philippines to ensure that we ourselves can defend ourselves, whether it's through military means or diplomatic means or even economic means.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador.
At yun na nga mga kababayan, ano na ang masasabi mo? Kung mayroon kayong hinaing at komento patungkol sa balitang ito, please comment down below. Pag-uusapan natin yan sa comment section. At kung nagustuhan nyo ang video, ay huwag kalimutang mag-like at i-share na din para mas marami pang makaalam at umabot ito sa marami sa ating mga kababayan. Maraming salamat po!
Mabuti pa ang sardinas may label. Eh tayo, wala.
Nay, ito na yung bayad ko sa isa, ano? O, kunin mo yung isa. Isa muna, iyan, no? Tapos, isa pa, di ba? 4 dapat na sardinas, eh. Yan. 3 na. Pang-4 na sardinas. Okay na.